connect with Wayne.
I have to think, really.
I'm Lou Santiago. Lou, go.
I'm Lewis Lee from All Ins Magazine.
Tori, go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tori DeBlasi. If your rear differential needs any attention, not to worry. I have all the essentials to rebuild that troublesome rear differential.
And tonight, our guest, he has a little show. It's not too popular. He finds cars that people want. I'm going to let him tell everybody who he is. Go ahead, Wayne, go.
Hey, I'm Wayne Carini, and I know Lou Santiago.
That's all. That's it. Show's over.
The rest is history. We all know that.
So, Wayne, so you were saying earlier that you crushed the cable when you were you're building your house, and it was in the middle of wintertime. First of all, I'm really confused. Why on God's green earth would you want to build a house in the middle of wintertime in Connecticut?
Well, we've been building a house for 2 years, and it came time to, oh my gosh, we forgot to put the cable in. Well, what it was, I got to tell you, what really happened is that we put the cable in, and the cable guy put the wrong size cable in, and it wouldn't work. So they had to lay another cable underground without pulling it through the pipe.
Oh, God.
And when we backfilled, it crushed the cable and bent it or did something. So
Yeah.
all the tests for 3 days. And so we had to get Hughes internet, and Hughes is so slow that we couldn't connect last week. So I'm here at the shop where we have high-speed internet, and here we are.
Good to go.
Glad to have you.
So Wayne, I know a lot of people, they know you from your show, Chasing Classic Cars. I understand, and that's a great show, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That car stuff that you do too is not too bad.
I just tinker. I don't do anything major, but it's not about me, Wayne. It's about you.
Your clothing.
So you.
Every time I watch your show, my wife goes, "What's he wearing this week?"
Hey,
Well,
most of the time it's Carhartt.
Did you see what I've been wearing? Did you see what I'm wearing in season 8?
Oh yeah, no,
I'm rocking the overalls.
Those pants.
I'm rocking the over. I was gonna do coveralls and get them embroidered, but I don't know if they're ready for that.
Lou, you can make anything fashionable, so
Pull-ups or something.
So now, for those of you guys who don't know, explain to everybody, how you got into doing what you do.
The business or the TV?
The business.
My dad restored cars when I was growing up. My father, in 1951, started the Model A Restorers Club because he had restored a Model A Ford and took it to a car show, and they wouldn't let him in because they said it was just an old used car. And so on the way home, he decided that he would create a club that they couldn't come to. So he started the Model A Club and made it the Model A Restorers Club. And
There it is.
Which there's thousands of members all over the world still.
Right.
Today. So I'm very proud of him for doing that. But I was the cheap labor when I was growing up. And so I was the kid that if he at 8 years old, he figured out I knew how to move sandpaper back and forth and sand things, paint and rusty parts. And so I became the cheap labor, and here I am, still cheap labor.
And that morphed into F40.
Well, yeah. So after high school, my father was real strict about me working. He worked 7 days a week, and I was made to work next to him or work for my uncles. I always had to work. There was no playing involved, no baseball, no football, nothing like that. And that's okay because it gave me a good respect for the work ethic that you have to have in life. And so I went to school to become an architect and graduated art education and still stayed in the business the whole time I was going to school.
Damn.
And then I came out of school, couldn't find a good job teaching art that I wanted. Went back to work for him for the summer, and that was in 1974. And the rest is history. Once I got into it and I started fixing Ferraris, the cars that I really liked, I fixed one Ferrari, and then the word got out. Next thing you know, there was 8 or 9 of them in the shop being worked on at once. And then it sort of took off from there. My dad decided to retire in 1978 and move to California and do something different. So I took over the shop, and here I am.
Damn it, man.
Good story.
Yeah.
things happen quickly,
Yeah, yeah,
buy motorcycles, and then you have girlfriends, and you're restoring cars for yourself and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and then suddenly you meet the love of your life, and you settle down to raise a family, and just it's amazing how fast life goes by.
yeah, yeah.
Very fortunate for the past 14 years to have the TV show, and I feel so lucky in my life to be able to meet great people all over this country and make great friends like you guys, and it's been an unbelievable experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what TV's done for me. It's the people.
It is.
That's what I think is the coolest, the people.
And we were talking before the show come on the air. I mean, our family that we have, that Velocity has created for us, with everybody that we go to SEMA and we see each other at different car shows, Bogey and Chip and Chris and all the guys, and we're all great friends, and we all have such a good time together. It's Mike Brewer, everybody that's involved in the network. There's no jealousy amongst us. We're all just really good friends and really love cars and everything to do with it.
Yeah, that is cool. That is very cool.
Yeah.
So I know you have your one daughter who works over there with you.
She doesn't any longer.
She doesn't.
Yeah, she went. She's a biology teacher in high school now. So
well, that's what I was going to ask you. Did she get the teaching gig? Because when I met her, she was trying to get a teaching gig. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, she got her license. And
awesome.
She's a high school biology teacher now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, be real proud. That's incredible. Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have one daughter that has autism. Don't you have a foundation, or are you tied to a foundation? Because I want everyone to know that if they want to do any donations to autism, they need to go to the one that you're backing, because it's just important.
Yeah. So I split ways with Autism Speaks about 7 years ago. They were a little top heavy with management and the costs that it takes to run a big organization like that, and I didn't agree with that, so I left that. And I support local autism charities in your local cities and towns, wherever you may live. Ours is Autism Families Connecticut, which supports functions that older adults and young adults can have something to do, as well as young people. It's always focused on children, which is a great thing. But what happens when the children grow up to be adults? What happens?
Right.
And basically close the door, and they just want to forget about these people. And so organizations now are finally understanding that and helping young adults with autism to do things together. They go bowling, and they go swimming, and they do a lot of functions together, and that's what I really support.
Yeah, because I have a nephew that's autistic, and he's like 32 years old.
We all have something,
Yeah.
It's a person has touched our lives in some way, whether it's a relative, a neighbor, a friend. It's amazing, and autism is rampant in the United States.
It is.
And we won't get into different beliefs. I'm a believer in one thing that causes it, and Autism Speaks doesn't believe in that, and that's the other reason I left them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, when 30 years ago, it was the amount of people that had it was nothing compared to what it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was misdiagnosed a lot.
Right.
Mental retardation and stuff, but these people are very brilliant people. They just socially inept, and there's certain things that bother them, and so I believe that as they're growing up and their brain is developing, that there's something that all of a sudden blocks that development, and there's a lot of controversy right now about MMR shots that children get because of measles and mumps and rubella.
Yeah.
But there's a substance called thimerosal that's put into that shot. That's a heavy metal. That's mercury, and so when the children get the shot, they're actually receiving mercury in their veins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people react to heavy metals differently than others, and that's my personal belief.
I believe that also. I've seen it with one of our good friends. Their daughter went and got her shots, and after that, she just changed.
Yeah, well, my daughter it was about 6 weeks after she got the MMR shot, she stopped talking and she just totally went into her own world, and it changed our lives drastically. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
the point in time when most of these people, they realize they have this autism. So,
Well, my there's this kid that I met. Well, I think he's like 18 now, but racing for autism. I met him up in Toronto at the show up there, and this kid is a phenomenal driver.
yeah,
And I'm telling you, I've got so much respect for him and his dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's his dad will go to any length to help his child, and it's phenomenal. Because you don't nowadays you see dedication in families. Don't get me wrong, but the level of dedication that this man has is just above and beyond.
when you have a child that's got any type of an issue, mental retardation or physical problems, it changes your life, and that becomes your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Do whatever it takes to make that child's life better and their future better, and that's what we have done for our daughter Kimberly. And fortunately, she's going to be okay in life, and we're okay with it.
Right.
I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change Kimberly for the world.
Yeah. Okay.
We accept it, and it's a great thing. She's the love of my life, and that's what I work so hard for, and that's what we live for.
Okay, so we're switching gears.
Yep.
We're done with that.
By the way, the link is in the comments for everyone who wants to donate.
So the whole car thing, I know you're a big, like I said before, I know you're a big car guy. What is the favorite car that you have ever found for somebody or for yourself?
Well, everybody asks me what's my favorite car. It's the next one. It's just,
that's a lame excuse, man. That's lame.
Let me just say this: the latest cool car.
Okay,
I'll give you that. I bought a '65 Shelby GT350 Mustang, and I just love that car.
That's really cool.
That car drives so cool. I mean, it's a race car for the street.
Right.
I've had 4 of them before, but never gave myself the opportunity to fall in love with it like I have in this one, and now it's a keeper. I won't sell this car.
Wayne, come on. You've said that before, and then you take them to auction.
But you know what? I'm trying to figure my collection out now, and I'm going to start weeding out the cars that I actually don't use. And there's quite a few of those, that I like the looks at them, but to drive them, it's okay. But now I want to enjoy my cars. I have a 3.5-year-old grandson. And I want him to enjoy this stuff and really get into it. He loves cars. He loves trucks, tractors, anything with wheels and motors.
That's awesome.
Go-karts. So we're building him a go-kart track right now, so that when he gets old enough where he can reach the pedals, we'll go-kart racing. But I want him to be able to experience this stuff. I bought a Dodge Demon, and people say, well, that's not your type of car. Why did you buy a Dodge Demon? I said, I want to put my grandson in the passenger seat and pull wheel stands.
There you go.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Front wheels off the ground and have him feel that sensation at that early age and really get into it.
And be safe.
Man.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's crazy. Wait, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite car that you and your dad restored together?
Probably. So when my dad was restoring classic cars, and I got to a client of his bought a 73 Ferrari Daytona Spider. He had it for 2 days, and he took down about 25 guardrails with the right side.
Wow.
And he brought it in for my father to fix. My father says, I don't want to fix this car. I don't have any time. So I took the project on. I guess that was probably my favorite car that I worked with my father to fix. And that was really the start of my Ferrari career, was that one car.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was 10 years old, we used to go up into this resort in the Adirondacks, where they had little cabins, and they had swimming and shuffleboard, and they had all these things to do. And there was a doctor that stayed next to us every year. And in 1961, when I was 10 years old, he drove a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase to the resort, and I fell in love with it. I mean, I thought this was the coolest car in the world, and still today, it is my favorite car in the world.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I mean, a 250 short wheelbase, I think, is the coolest looking car. So simple. It drives so good. I've had the opportunity to restore 8 of them over my career, so I've gotten to know them pretty well, and still my favorite all-time car ever.
Do you have one?
Oh my gosh, no, gosh, they're $14 million now.
Oh,
Only for whoa.
oh.
I enjoy restoring other people's and driving them and then giving it back to them.
Yeah.
It's expensive that way too.
Yeah. No kidding. I didn't know it was that expensive. Holy shit.
Well, when I was restoring some of them, they were like $200,000-$300,000, and then they climbed up to $1 million, and that's when I realized that the party was over, that I would not.
Yeah.
One, so it was time to enjoy everybody else's.
Yeah. Well, Jared was telling me last time I was down in Tampa that there are guys that are buying all these supercars and everything and stripping them and selling them for parts, and they're just what is that true? What's going on with that?
I had not heard that.
Yeah,
He
he was telling me that there's some guys that realize that the parts are more money than the car itself, so they're just stripping them down.
Huh.
I didn't know if you had heard of that. So
You know what? I think I've seen something on the internet from Dubai. I think they have a junkyard over there with exotic cars.
that doesn't surprise me.
It was like really high-end cars in the junkyard.
Well,
That's my youngest behind me.
If you don't know who I am by now,
That's
there's a
Wayne.
problem.
That's Wayne Carini.
Hi, old man. Everyone at this
Hey, Nick.
That's Wayne. That's Tori. You know who they
I
are.
know that.
Go
but
away. We're telling stories.
How you doing,
I'm
Tori?
important right now.
Okay, so back to the junkyard.
You know, we used to get cars over from Saudi Arabia years ago, Countachs and first-year Testarossas, that basically when they ran out of gas, sometimes they just left them on the side of the road and just another one, you know. So,
Wow.
guy over there that was buying them and sending them over to me, and I was painting them because most of them were sandblasted so bad.
Yeah.
It just disappeared, and they were only a year old. So, but yeah, there was a guy I've read on the internet yesterday that had a collection of Ferraris 355s and Mondials, and not real expensive ones, and he lost his storage, and the guy put them outside. He had a health problem, and the cars were sitting outside in the weeds. I think it was in Florida or Texas or something. So yeah, all sorts of strange things happen, and we sometimes find all those strange things on our show.
Yeah.
It's about classic cars. And, I bought a Gullwing Mercedes 4 weeks ago, and we filmed it, and it was in a garage since 1996. This little garage, and the garage was falling down, and the house was abandoned. And there was a 55 Gullwing with 18,000 miles sitting in the garage.
Oh my God!
The lock was so flimsy that all she had to do was take a regular hammer and hit it, and it would fall apart. But her husband passed away, and he was a fan of my TV show, and he told her, he says, if and when I die, you call Wayne Carini and he'll buy that car. And I did. And you'll see it on an up and coming episode. It was
Nice.
skill, you know, to get this car. Then I take the car out of the garage, and it was covered with so much stuff. And we get the car out, and it had 18,000 miles on it. I said, it must have 118,000 miles. She says, no, I think that's the real miles. I took it home to the shop, and we were cleaning it. And under the seat, the driver's seat, the cushion, I picked it up, and there was a booklet where he had written down every time he put gas in it and what the gas cost and how many miles were on the car. And the last record in there was in 1996 when it had 18,300 miles on it.
Oh my God!
1,325 miles on it.
That's a time capsule.
Yeah. So we knew it was the
Yeah. Man, there's on Instagram. There's a page I follow, Abandoned Cars, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
and he had a picture of a gull wing sitting in the forest, all grown up around it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy has some of the crazy. I don't know if he's taking them or if he's got people sending them in. I don't know, but there's all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, we've seen them. It's unbelievable.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Now, Josh wants to know what's the most expensive and rarest car you've ever worked on.
Probably a 250 GTO Ferrari. One just traded hands a little while ago for 75 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did the CEO of Tommy Hilfiger. We did his GTO, and they do these GTO reunions about every 5 years where they all get together. There's 36 GTOs, and they get as many together, and they tour all over Europe, and then they go to racetracks. Well, we had restored the car to perfection. He takes it over to Europe. He goes on the tour, and he's on the Monza race course over there racing it as part of the tour, and he rolls it over into a ball of nothing.
Oh.
And destroyed it. So he left it over there and had it rebodied. But that was probably the most expensive car. Not the most exciting car. I love GTOs, but I love short wheelbases better.
Yeah.
We just restored a Type 57 SC Bugatti and showed it at Pebble Beach last year. So every day it's something different, and every day it's something cool. So I really don't value the cars as to what they cost or what their value is. It's how it excites me. I think.
Right.
I could get excited about a $5,000 Fiat as much as a $75 million GTO Ferrari.
Right.
Prices don't excite me at all. It's what the car is and how cool it is, and an old beat up hot rod could get me more excited than a GTO.
Yeah.
And you know what it is too, though? The story behind the car sometimes is just as important, if not more so, than the car itself.
Yeah.
And the people that are brought together because of the car, that's just a bonus.
We had a story where I found a Stutz Bearcat down in Statesboro, Georgia. And that was just so cool. And everybody says that's probably one of their favorite episodes. So, in this business, I wake up every morning and check my emails. I get up at 4:30 every morning, and first thing I do is, before I even get in the shower, is I check the emails, because you never know what's coming your way overnight. It's like Christmas every morning. Wake up, okay, what's in the tree today?
Okay. So now Wayne just gave me the perfect lead-in to waking up early. Wayne, when you're checking your emails, what are you wearing now?
Underpants.
What are you getting ready to do? You told me what you were gonna do.
I'm standing in the bathroom, ready to jump in the shower, but before I do, I turn the shower on to warm it up, and then and sometimes, if they're interesting emails, I shut the shower back off, and then I sit down at the bench next to the shower, and I finish reading the emails.
No, you said that you were getting ready to go to Bonneville. You wanted to do Bonneville. What do you do when you're checking your emails and watching TV in the morning?
Oh, that's the days that I exercise. So
I
treadmill 3 days a week. So before I do that, I get in my sweats and I go in the basement of the house and I put my helmet on. And sit in front of the TV and turn the news on. I check my emails while I have a Hans device on and a helmet, full face helmet.
So tell everybody why you wear a helmet.
I was just going to ask that.
My wife woke up one morning, and this was in our old house, and a washing machine dryer downstairs next to my workout room. And she comes downstairs, and I'm sitting there in front of the TV, and I got my helmet on and Hans device. And she looks over at me, and she stares at me, and I look right at her, and she walks in, does the laundry, comes back out, looks at me again, shakes her head, walks upstairs. And I finish what I'm doing, and I go up to have coffee with her, and I sit down on the couch, and we talk for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden she goes, "What the F is that about?" Because I know you're crazy, but are you really that crazy? So what I'm doing is I'm going to go to Bonneville, and I have claustrophobia, severe. So I'm trying to get myself used to wearing a helmet for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working. I mean, I'm up to about a half an hour of as long as my mind is going and thinking of something else, watching TV or reading emails, I'm okay. But if I just sit there with nothing to think about or nothing to do, I got to rip the helmet off. It's just claustrophobia. Unless you have it, you can never understand how severe it can be. So
Well,
what I'm doing, I'm going to go to Bonneville next year, and so I'm preparing myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
hey,
so,
the way you got to do it.
I mean, one of these days I'm going to take a picture, and I'm just going to
Post it.
tell you on FaceTime or something like that, and I'll call you Lou, and I'll say, Lou, it's me.
I'll have to go downstairs and get my helmet out. We can have a conversation wearing helmets.
I'll get my helmet too.
That's the one helmet I like, my full face that I wear a lot of the times is a BMW helmet that you can release the chin part.
Yeah.
It up. So when I come to a traffic light when I'm riding, I'll pull it up, and then it's wide open. And I feel okay then.
Yeah, yeah.
With the down and the windshield down, it's just claustrophobia takes over.
Well, wait a minute. So now, Lou, do I need the SCBA mask, to go with the helmet? I don't want to be out of place. I don't want to be underdressed or anything, So
If I would have thought about it tonight, I would have grabbed my helmet and brought it up. If I would have thought about it,
I can get a helmet now if you want. It's not a big deal.
I can run downstairs and get one too.
I don't have one in my office here.
Next time, bring your helmet. We'll all come dressed for the occasion, okay?
Now, what was the car that you picked up to do this in? Because I remember you told me it was. Wasn't it one of Jimmy Shine's cars or something?
Yeah, so it's a 1932 Ford. It's known as the Tony Thacker Jimmy Shine car. Came out of SoCal Speed Shop. Jimmy, of course, as we know, works at SoCal, and he and Tony Thacker, great Bonneville racer himself, and they went in together on this car. It was purchased by a friend of mine, and he tried to sell it to me for about 3 years for a lot of money, and I kept saying no, and he took it to Barrett Jackson and no reserve, and I was standing on stage to see what happened, and next thing you know, I own the car. It was so cheap, couldn't resist.
It was cheaper than what he wanted for it. So yeah.
Oh, he wanted $175,000, and I bought it for $30,000. I mean, it was just like,
wow.
The engine, it's a 302 Chevy block with an intercooled blower. It's got 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah.
And they started that car up on stage, and I just immediately raised my hand, $20,000, and the next guy won 25, and I won 30, and he walked away, and I owned the car. So
no
crazy.
way.
And then, of course, the gentleman that owned it was in tears because he was so glad that he sold it. He didn't know I bought it, and I congratulated him, and he says, "Oh my God, I hope the guy that bought it really loves it." I said, "I do." And he says, "What do you mean you?" I said, "I own the car." Well, he really went crazy. And he became my crew chief right then and there. He says, "I want to be your crew chief. I want to go with you." He was just getting a little older and didn't feel his coordination was proper for going those speeds. So the car's been 265. And so
wow.
I want to do 200 miles an hour. So my wife says, "So when you wear the helmet and where do you go to Bonneville, what do you get? Do you get money?" I said, "No." "Do you get a trophy?" I said, "No." "What do you get?" I said, "Well, you get a red hat." She goes, You're doing all this for a red hat?" She goes, "I'll buy you the red hat." I said, "No, you got to earn it." Red hat says the 200-mile-an-hour club, and then
you go in the book.
Yeah, and then it changes colors as you faster you go, and there's guys out there that have got the 300-mile club, and then the 400-mile club, and so it's cool, and it's one of my bucket list things I've got to do.
Yeah. I get it. That's awesome.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, and you got a bucket. People ask me when I give talks, they go, "Well, you got all these things on your bucket list. What happens when you finish it all?" And I go, "Well, we'll just turn the page and we'll make a new list. That's all."
Right.
Doesn't mean the ultimate bucket list. It's just what's on the paper right then. That's
right.
Or you go back to things you really enjoyed and say, "Hey, I'd like to do that again."
Well, yeah. I mean, in the position that I'm in, I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. We did the London to Brighton rally a couple of years ago. We'll go back and do that again next year. I'm going to do the Milan Mille over in Italy. So those things, I was telling these guys before we went on the air, I had the opportunity to go to Daytona 500 with Stanley Black and Decker this year, and I got to watch the start of the Daytona 500 standing on a transporter with Richard Petty.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it gets any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great motor race like that, and being part of it, and then standing with one of my heroes and watching the race, it gives me chills just thinking about it, talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Chip Foose and I and Chris Jacobs had the opportunity to go up and watch the race with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wayne, I have one question for you.
When we go to SEMA, Lou, we meet so many cool people. And,
Oh, I know.
And whether they're famous or not, they're all like-minded people, and we love it. We love being able to talk to them and listen to their stories too.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I enjoy it. I really do. Even though I'm working, I still enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And then, and then I get to cause a scene whenever I see you.
Well, you cross the scene when you see me. Absolutely, you know. I
What's
started.
good like that?
Okay, Lou's gonna see me. Watch out. Here it comes. But it's good, and you do that with everybody. I mean, it's part of your gig. I mean, you really enjoy making people feel good, you know. And,
Well, honestly, the way I look at it, and I tell this to everybody, if someone's going to waste a half hour of their life watching me be an idiot on TV, I can give them time.
yeah,
I can give them time. There's no reason for me to be an ass to anybody. That's how I look at it.
You're very generous with your time, and then how you talk to people and make them feel welcome, and that's really cool.
I mean, it's just what I do. I mean, it's just to me, it makes sense. So
me too. I mean, I sign autographs, and people watch me and hang out with me for a whole day, and they say, "How do you do that?" And I go, "I don't know. It's good. I like it."
Right, exactly.
I like it. Sometimes it's a little overbearing, but you plow through it. That's all.
Yeah, that's all there is to it, man. You just got to do what you got to do, and you move on. Yeah.
Right.
So
that's right.
That's how when we became friends. I became overbearing, and that was it. So.
He bought dinner. That's how it happened. Somebody asked something here, and we were busy talking, and I lost track of it. What was it? There was. Never mind. It was a bunch of stuff that they posted about the cars, drums, eBay guys taking classics down to every piece and cylinder nuts and bolts. Yeah. That's the one I saw. I thought it was a question. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything,
When I drove my Stutz down West 57th Street in New York City, that was a cool moment. I can tell you that. That was.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, well, I took it in. There's a group called Chowder, and they have meetings every month at Sardi's, and they asked me to come down and speak at their luncheon, and I brought the Stutz Bearcat, and Ralph.
I remember that.
I drove around 3 or 4 blocks and down Broadway, and it was really cool to be able to drive that. It was nerve-wracking because I didn't want a bus or any cab.
Right, or a cab.
Right. Yeah, cab. Worry about the cabs.
The
Yeah,
cab.
But it was worth it. I tell you that. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I remember we talked, and this was a couple of years ago, about the auto union car.
Mhm.
Those 2 auto unions, and I remember on the show they said don't sell it because they knew the owner of the other one came up, and you told me, because I asked you whatever happened with that, and you said that you were just waiting to find out, that nobody knew. Did that ever come to an end?
No. So there was 2 built, two with the same serial numbers.
Right.
So there's a guy in Spain, Abacan is his name, and he owns one, and that's the one he was trying to sell, and the other one is actually in the Auto Union Museum or Audi Museum, and so there was a lot of controversy. A lot of these cars were taken apart, and they found them in salt mines in Russia.
Right.
And why that serial number was used, I think they built one thinking that one car would never appear again, and it finally did, and then they didn't know what to do with the one that they actually built and gave it that serial number. So
right.
It's best not to talk about it, because then lawyers will be calling you up and saying, well, what do you know about this car? So,
yeah. I just thought, because I remember watching the show, and it was just crazy.
And it was. We went all the way over to Paris. We filmed
Yeah.
the city. We filmed the waiting in the car and shipping it over and doing
Yeah.
it. And then we got there, and all of a sudden at the last minute, it got pulled out of the auction because they found this information out. And somebody said, I know that there's 2 of these cars, and if you sell that car, I will sue you. And so they said, we'll pull the car, and we don't want anything to do with it. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
but it ended up to be a good show because I went over and I bought Mr. DuPont's 500 Superfast for him that he had sold many, many years before. And so we found his old car and brought it back home.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so it turned out to be good footage anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Damn it, man. So, what else do you have planned on the horizon? I mean, do you have anything else that you're thinking about doing?
Oh, wow. We have, of course, we've got about 2.5 more years with chasing going on with our present contract, and we'll see what happens. As we know, things are shaking up at Motor Trend, so you never know what's going to go on.
Yeah.
My feeling is that everything will be back to normal again, but right at the moment, Motor Trend is sort of floundering around on the dock, and whether they want to be a pay-per-view or a on-demand or TV station, they don't quite know. So whatever, we'll just go with the flow. We make our shows and they buy them from us and then they air them. So, we're still working well. Hannah's my producer. She's been with us for 13 years. And unfortunately, we lost Jim, who was the founder of the show, and he was our cameraman to cancer a couple of years ago. So we sort of had to regroup around that. And so Gordy, who was our cameraman on our first season, came back to work for us, and it's all been working really well.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we've got some other shows up our sleeves. So that we've filmed. So, chasing will one of these days go away. There's no doubt, everything comes to an end. Tomorrow night, the Big Bang Theory is coming to an end. So, we've had a great run of 14 years. So who knows? I'd like to see it 20 years, but you never know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
Wayne,
yeah.
do us this favor, though. When something is coming up on the horizon, when something else is ending and beginning, let us know so we have you back on the show so you can make the announcement at the appropriate time then.
Well, chasing, we've got, we're just coming up on 200 episodes. So
Wow.
Chasing reruns will go on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time we're done, we'll have probably over 225 episodes, with the contract we have now. Hopefully they'll renew the contract. But then, I'm not going away. We've got other things cooking. One show in particular doesn't have anything to do with cars. So that's an interesting concept that I came up with. And the other show is got to do with cars, but it's a little bit different twist as to what we're doing now. So, yeah, it's I was given this opportunity 14 years ago, and the girl Shauna, who was the head of programming for Discovery, liked what we were doing. We did 2 one-hour episodes, and then she was in Monterey with us, and we were filming without a contract, and she took us to one side. She said, we'd like you to do an episode or a season of 12 episodes, and you can do anything you want. You can call it anything you want. We believe in what you're doing. And so that's how we come up with Chasing Classic Cars. It was first Chasing Cars, and then we switched it the next morning to Chasing Classic Cars. And it's taken off. She warned me my life would change. She says, the power of television is immense, and your life is about to change. Just hang on for the ride. And I didn't believe her at that time, but she was 100% correct. You can't go anywhere without being recognized, and everybody talks like they know you. You're in their living rooms, and they see you so much that they think that you're, part of the family. So it's been really some rides, a lot of good things and a few, unusual things have happened, but sometimes they turn into good things. So my wife and I used to go grocery shopping together all the time. And I think it was probably when it was first starting getting really recognized, and everybody would push the camera, the iPhone in her face and say, "Excuse me, miss, would you take our picture, please?" and she'd look at me and she goes, "Oh, sure, no problem." Take the picture, and they go, "Oh, wait a minute, one more pose, you know." And then, you know, after about the fourth person at that one grocery shopping trip would stop her and say that, and finally she'd look at me and she'd go sit in the car. Ain't in this anymore.
You got your out.
That's go sit in the car. And so now I just drop her off. I don't go inside with her. That's really good. We drive to the grocery store, but I sit in the car on my phone, and she does the grocery. It's our time together once a week when I'm home. Not that often, as you well know, Lou.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
gig. I was on the road 187 days last year, so
yeah,
A long time.
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of time in hotel rooms, I can tell you that. And
yeah.
it gets all. Wow, that's the one thing about this that sucks the most, and that's the travel.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm gonna start putting some cash together, and I'm finally gonna buy myself a big rig so I can make money when I'm making these trips.
Yeah, you might.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm serious. I'm done.
You should buy a transporter and haul people's cars across the United States while you're going to these shows.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Why
But
not?
I'm gonna do a rig. I'm gonna build one.
I wanted Lou to build like an old CF Mac fire truck and make it into a car hauler.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. But yeah, I'm gonna.
My list. I want a Seagrave pumper. You know.
Yeah.
You're talking my language, Wayne.
Like a 1915 Seagrave
Yeah, yeah,
5. That's one of the vehicles I want.
that'd be cool too.
I have no idea why, but
I know why I want one. I'd use it.
When you get it, we'll cut it up and make it a car hauler for you.
No, we just want to give kids rides and let them blow the horn or the
Horn, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
crank the
Put-
side.
Put seats in the deck.
Yeah. The only
Take the
thing
pump out. Put
now,
seats in it.
everybody's got to be buckled in with shoulder harnesses. You know.
Yeah,
It's gotten a little,
yeah. It's
crazy.
gotten a little ridiculous. That's true. It has.
Buy an old towel ladder, send them up 75 feet in the air. The parents will be yelling, the kids will be screaming. Do it again.
I'm going up to Canada to RM's RM auction and RM restoration shop up in Canada's having a birthday party. It's their 40th anniversary, and they invited me up. And there's a fire truck association up there that wants to do an article about me, and they want me to drive the tiller in the back.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
You know the trick with the tiller, though, right, Wayne?
No, what?
If you want to turn right, you got to turn the wheel left.
Direction of where you want to go.
Or else you'll
Yeah.
be like the little rascals if you go in the same direction. You know what I'm saying? So,
No, they're gonna take me in a parking lot and train me first, then we're gonna go out on the road. So
I'll train you. That's easy.
Yeah, Tori can do that.
that might be something.
When I was in chauffeur school, I said I want to drive the back. You know, because I was trained on the engine because I was an engine company chauffeur.
Okay.
And I drove the tower ladder. They said, "Oh, could you handle it?" I'm like, "It's just a little bit longer. You make your turns a little wider. It's no big deal." Then I saw the tiller. I'm like, "You drive the front. I'm getting in the back." And I had the time of my life. I was wheeling that thing around chauffeur school. It was great. I had a good time.
That's what's fun about when you learn and you're sort of willing to learn anything. I grew up on a farm and drove tractors, and then I graduated to dump trucks when I was 12 years old. I was driving a dump truck, So, and now it doesn't matter whether it's a bulldozer or whatever. My wife, we were landscaping a few weeks ago, and I'm out there on the bulldozer, and she goes, "How do you know how to run one of those things?" I said, "I don't know. You just jump on.
You just do it.
Pull switches.
Yeah,
So, for your driving test, you knew how to drive already because you've been driving since you were a kid
exactly.
for a license.
9 years old, they had me driving a tractor because they figured I could drive it. And I said, that's easier than hiring somebody to drive it. You drive it, kid. So this was on our family farm with peaches, pears, and apples. And so they had the trailer in the back that hauled all the baskets. And so that was my job, to go up and get all the baskets from the guys loading them on and bring them down to the barn. So
They really believe in cheap labor in the shop, at home, on the farm. My God, they took advantage of you.
They did. No, I mowed lawns. I did about everything. But it was a good childhood. I was very, very lucky growing up where I did and learning the things I did. So
yeah. So Scott wants to know, he's about 50 minutes away from you, if he could come down and get a shop tour.
yeah, sure. If I'm here, happy to do it. Normally we ask that people come between noon and 1 o'clock. Other than that, it's a little. If I had to do it all day, I'd just stand here and I'd give shop tours all day. Chip Foose gave me that little tip. He says, we do garage tours between noon and 1. My guys are at lunch and we're not bothering anybody, and we'll be happy to see everybody from noon to 1. But other than that, I don't give tours, and that's what I'm trying to sort of narrow it down to now, because otherwise I just do it all day and I don't have a chance to work.
Well, it was crazy because when I did Ultimate Car Build Off, right, and we did the first stint in California, and Chip was the judge. So it was one night I was with him, and it was midnight. We're in his shop, and he's got the door open, and he's doing something, and I'm helping him. And these two couples, one was from Poland, and I think the other one was from Czechoslovakia. They showed up. They wanted to make sure they knew where to go, so they went out that night, and they happened to be standing at the gate, and they see Chip in there working. So Chip opens up the gate. They come in, and he gave them the whole tour. They were there for like an hour and a half. It was fucking midnight, man.
Oh, that's Chip. I mean, he's very.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but it was just funny, because I'm in there helping him, and all of a sudden these people are standing there. So I'm like, hey, Chip. So we go out there and we talk to him, and they came from, I think it was I know one was Poland, and the other one, two unrelated couples. They just wanted to make sure they knew where they had to go for the next day, and it just so happened that Chip was in there, man.
Yeah, well, he'll draw if somebody asks him to draw a picture of a car in their shirt or on their
yeah.
I mean,
it's insane.
He's kind of a pain in the neck to do signing lines, because there'll be all of us signing autographs, and he's at the end. He's drawing pictures, and then the line doesn't move at all,
Well, and see that's why I drew the stickman when I signed my autograph.
Stickman, that's right.
Yeah, I was, and for those who don't know, I was in Vegas, and I just happened to be sitting there talking to Chip. It was Mopar's at the Strip at the time, and Chip would sign, and of course, I don't have hero cards. So every now and then, like every 50th person would go, oh, can I get your autograph, Lou? So I'd sign it, and I'm like, man, I got to do something more than a damn card. I can't, just do my signature. So I'm signing the back of Chip's hero card, and I started drawing a stick man. So he reaches over and puts a goatee on. He goes, now it's good. So I've been doing it ever since.
That's it, stick man.
So I put the stick man on
Portland, remember?
I've got one of those myself.
That's where it came from. That's where it came. But the thing is, like we'd go to dinner, and he's eating, and he's drawing while he's eating. Yeah. It's the craziest thing, man.
I love people coming up, and I love talking to them and stuff. But when I'm eating, and I got my mouth full of food, and a guy comes up and says, I don't want to interrupt you, but.
Yeah.
Picture taken with you, and you stand up and we're chewing and stuff. Hide, when you're eating, you just disappear. You go somewhere and hide behind a car or something.
Well, I one time
you should at least pay the check.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, one time I was sitting there eating. It was at SEMA. I'm sitting there eating, and there's a guy standing there. I kicked the chair. I'm like, man, sit down. Just sit down. Let's. Because you're making me nervous standing there.
Before you came on the air, I was telling these guys about the first time I met you at SEMA, and you asked me to go to lunch with you. So I got in the salad line, and you got in the burger line. So I find the table, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden you come over with these two guys, and you say, hey, make room for my friends. So we make room. These guys sit down. You're talking to these guys for like a half an hour about, Marines or something. some service-oriented thing. I'm going, so, Jesus, how long have you known those guys, Lou? And he says, I just met them in the lunch line. I thought you knew the guys forever.
That's
I
Lou.
really did. I'm going,
I do the same thing.
just met in the lunch line? Oh, yeah. We're just chatting in a lunch line. I asked him to come join us. And you can make friends.
Listen, he's even invited him to parties that we're going to after the show. He's like, come on, we're going to a party. Yeah.
I can see that happen at that
And
party.
get him in. Hey, it's like invite only. Enter with me. Come on.
We've taken people up to the Elvis suite when we've had the Velocity.
Right. Yeah.
That's a wild party, isn't it?
Oh yeah. But it was the last one. We got done with the Velocity night thing, and we were going over to go up to the party, right? And it was some lady. Don't know who she was. She's like, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm going to the party," and and
It's five of us too.
yeah, and there's five of us, and she's like, "Well, I need to know who you are." So I told her I'm Lou Santiago. She's like, "You're not on my list." I said, "All right." And some guy shows up. I had seen him before, but I don't really know him. But he works for the network. He's Lou. He's like, "Lou, how many people you got?" I'm like, 6. He gives everybody a wristband, and we go up.
That's right. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and it was like 3 guys we didn't even know. It was like, "Come on, you're coming with us. Come on."
So Brewer, wait till you hear this. So Brewer and let's see, who the heck was it? It was Steve Moll and Michael Moll, Ed China, Mike
God.
Brewer and his wife. We went to Sinatra's over in the Wynn Hotel in the Encore one night for dinner after the party, the Velocity party. So he says, "I'll order the wine." Brewer does.
Oh
So
God.
we ordered wine. We went through like 4 bottles of wine, dinner. So I excused myself, and my cousin Billy, my cousin Billy.
Yeah.
Billy was there with us. So I excused myself to go to dinner. Go to the men's room, and Brewer says to my cousin, "What's your room number, Billy?" With Wayne, and Billy goes, "Oh, I don't know, it's 519 or something." And so the next morning, I get a call from Jennifer with the network, and they said, "What's this $3,000 bill dinner last night?"
No.
Talking about these bottles of wine are like $600 a piece, and I go, "I don't know, Brewer." She says, Brewer's part of this deal." She goes, "Okay, I got it figured out now." Brewer put it on my room.
That's very generous of you.
They signed my name and everything.
That's fucking awesome.
Blasting me, and when I said Brewer with us, she goes, "I get it. It wasn't you that did this, is it?" I go, "No, ma'am. I was sitting there eating and drinking. That's all I know."
Oh,
So we were
my
banned
God.
from then on, having dinner together at Sinatra's, Brewer and I. So
That's
That's
awesome.
funny.
That's awesome. That's a guy I gotta track down and get on here. I'd like to get Mike on here.
Oh, you
Wayne,
should. You should. He's
I don't have his contact
I'll
information.
give it to you. I'll give it
You're
to
the
you.
man. I'll get it from you.
Awesome. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, tell him to change Instagram. I've been sending him on Facebook. I've been sending him messages. He's ignoring me. Him and China, Chip, all of them are ignoring me.
I'll call him for you.
Yes,
you.
I had Chip's. I have Chip's old number. I don't have his new number.
I'll give you his new number.
Yeah, because Chip changes his number all the time, so I never have it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny because whenever I see him and he's like, "How come you haven't called?" I'm like, "I don't have your number. I'm like 4 behind." I'll show him. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're way behind." I'm like, "That's why I don't have it."
I try texting him at least a couple times a week sometimes just to make sure that he hasn't changed the number.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because the last time I called the number right, and some guy answers, and he goes, "Who in the hell is this Chip guy? Everybody calls his damn number." And I'm like, "Dude, I said, man, just get rid of the fucking number. You just get rid of it. Just do that." He
He's
had
the
no
he's the
idea.
biggest drug dealer in California.
That's how rumors get started.
Yeah, it's the drug of automobiles. That's
Yeah,
what
no kidding. But it was funny because I called, left a message, but it was just leave a message, the
right.
computer one. So I called back later that day, And this guy's like, who in the hell is this guy? I mean, what? He's like, he's just going on this rant about, about Chip's number. I'm like, dude, just get rid of the number. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
People are going to call you for the rest of your life, pal.
Yeah,
You never heard Chip? He's a god. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. You know what? Two of the things, I know you can help me with this. I want to do Amelia Island and I want to do Pebble Beach.
Sure. Just come.
I don't have any way to get in. I'm just going to have to go with you. I'm going on your coattails on that deal.
You're already in. Don't worry.
Yeah, those are on my bucket list.
I can't get you a hotel room, but I mean,
I ain't worried about a hotel room, man.
I'll
I'll bring a tent. I can be like everybody else in California, sleep in a tent.
Hey, and he has a management team.
This is Monterey. It's not San Francisco.
That's fancy.
They might pick me up and put me in a cell. As long as I'm out the next day, I'm good, man.
That's true. No, we'll get you in all that stuff.
Dude, that's cool because I've always wanted to do that.
We'll have some fun.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do Pebble Beach, and like I remember when they brought hot rods to Pebble Beach, it was this big deal,
I know.
That's. I just think that's be the cool
This
place.
year, it's hot rods that were on covers of magazines, Hot Rod Magazine, Carcraft.
Really?
Yeah. So it's hot rod cover cars. It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when is Pebble Beach?
it's August 15th through the 19th, something like that. I'm doing a seminar. My schedule out there is just so crazy. So this will be my 37th straight Pebble Beach.
Wow.
That's impressive. Wow.
Damn.
And the reason is that I met my wife and we were dating, and I stopped going to Pebble Beach because I had gone since I was basically a 17-year-old kid.
Right.
I went there with my dad once and caught the bug and just kept going. And then I met my wife and I stopped going for like 5 years. So we got married. She goes, you haven't gone to Pebble Beach since you've met me. Why don't you go this year? I said, okay, twist my arm. Okay, I'll go. And I haven't stopped since. And I've been married 7 years this year. So I know how many years I've been going.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but it's changed so much. It used to be a 3-day event. We'd go on Friday and go to the racetrack on Saturday, go to Pebble Beach Sunday, and go home Monday,
Right.
But I go now for 12 days.
Well, you're working. That's why.
Yeah, so many events and so many things that I have to do out there, and appearances, and every day it's like I leave at 5:30 in the morning. I get home until midnight every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out
Wow,
there.
long day.
It gets tiring. I'll tell you.
It's a grind, man. It's a grind. Yeah. No, I know.
It's adrenaline keeps you going, because it is a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got to look into that. I'm gonna
So
try
we're
and get out there.
showing some hot rods out there this year, and and selling some cars at auction, and one of our cars that we're restoring right now is going to be on the lawn of Pebble Beach, a 1910 Napier. So kind of cool.
What?
19 Napier.
What is that? I never heard of that.
English-built car with a monstrous engine, probably the biggest displacement engine that there was back in the day.
All right, what is it? How big is it?
Well, it's like a 1,200 cubic inch engine. It's just
wow.
Yeah, and it's 6 cylinders, but twin spark heads. Each cylinder has twin sparks, and the hood is like 6 feet long.
Really?
That's the old Cadillacs, huh?
It's a crazy, V16 Cadillacs, that kind of stuff was kind of cool. But this, for 1910, this was like one of the most spectacular cars ever built.
That's a hot rod.
It
I'm gonna have
was.
to write that down. 1910 Napier. I'm gonna have to look. I'm sure there's pictures of it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's not too many of them in the world, but we're restoring it for a gentleman in Holland, and so it'll be shown at Pebble Beach.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, and then we're doing my mole hot rod will be on the Concord on the Avenue on Tuesday. My new hot rod will be at McCall's Jet Center party on Wednesday. And And then let's see, the Mole and the new hot rod will be at the Quail on Friday. And then we got the Napier on the lawn on Saturday. Thursday's the tour, the Pebble Beach Tour, which is a fantastic event.
Right.
Pebble Beach Tour ends up in Carmel, and on Ocean Avenue in Carmel, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people come. And when you come around the corner to go down Ocean Avenue, there's on both sides of the road, I mean, there's just these huge crowds cheering you on as you come down, you know. And
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's so cool.
It's very cool.
That's so
And
cool.
then probably 60% of the cars that'll be shown at Pebble Beach go on the tour. So the people get to see the cars for no cost at all. You don't have to buy a ticket to this event. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
It really is.
it's cool. So while we're having lunch, there's all these people crawling all over our cars and
Yeah.
hopefully not stealing anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So
But
how's
as a
Roger?
what's that?
How's Roger?
He's okay.
Still still grumpy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's getting his knee replaced. I think today or tomorrow he gets his left knee replaced. So yeah,
Oh,
he's doing fine. He's
Yeah, I just thought of that. That's why I asked it. It just popped in my head. Yeah.
yeah, he's still
Very cool.
he's like gum on your shoe. You know, you shake it and just. We still love Roger. He's doing fine.
Good. Send him our regards.
I will.
We have a question in the chat room from Jim Listella. How hard is it and how long does it take to prep a car for Pebble Beach?
Oh boy, I tell you what, some cars get restored 3 different times before they actually make it to Pebble Beach. But it's all in the details and it's all in the authenticity. And as long as you do your homework as you're restoring the car, that's the key to the whole thing. And it's a tough event. But my feeling is this: if you're invited to show a car at Pebble Beach, you've already won. I don't need the trophy. I don't need the recognition.
Yeah.
I've already got the recognition that I've been accepted with the car.
Right.
My car has been accepted. And that's the greatest feeling that you can have.
Oh, yeah.
Winning,
Spectacular.
I mean, it's like putting a cherry on the top of the cake. But to go there and to drive on that lawn at Pebble Beach on Sunday morning at 5:30 in the morning at the dawn patrol, and all the people are lined up to see your car, and it's an experience like no other.
I watched one of your shows, and you were taking a car there early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I get that feeling, like you just said, through the TV, watching you do it.
Yeah, and I think that's why our show is so popular. The people, they know they'll probably never get to do that, or haven't had the opportunity to do that, and they learn from it, and they have that same feeling because I guess it's just the way I talk about it. I have no idea why. I mean, I still can't understand why people watch our show so much. I mean, I just do my normal thing, sort of like Lou. We people enjoy us. We've got a personality, I guess. And we tell a story and people enjoy it, and just being yourself. So there's no script in our show. There's no direction. It's just in how everyday life in my world. So,
You're genuine that way.
Yeah.
and it works.
Very authentic.
It works.
So John Day wants to know what your vehicle checklist consists of. Like when you're doing Pebble Beach, like what are you looking for to get it ready?
First off, you got to make sure of all the details, and you got to make sure you're correct in the authenticity of the car and exactly how it was, and the materials that you've chosen for the material for the top and the interior and all those things. And then the way the car runs is very important, because we take it on the tour and it's got to go 70 miles. And so you don't want it to break down, and you want it to, so you get a ribbon for going on the tour. And if there's a tie in your class and one car went on the tour and the other one didn't, the one going on the tour takes the award. So
that's the tiebreaker. Yeah.
Enthused about actually having the car on the tour. But it's having knowledge and having confidence in what you've done, and hoping that the judges agree with you. And sometimes they don't. I had a circumstance this year where I took a 54 Studebaker, It was on the show, and I took second place, and I was fine with that. But what upset me more than anything was the judges couldn't believe that the paint was original. And they kept asking me, when did you paint the car, Wayne? And I said, it's never been painted. No, let me rephrase that. How long ago did you paint the car? I said, it's never been painted. And after the 5th time, I got pissed off.
Right.
Are you calling me a liar?
Right.
And
Yeah.
never been painted. I mean, it was that good. And the guy says, but it's not, no Studebaker ever come out of the factory looking like this. I said, well, what can I tell you? And I've got the niece of the guy that owned the car, and she's the person I bought it from, and she's standing next to me. And she says it's never been painted. It had 7,000 miles on it.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
That's a time capsule right there.
Oh, it's the best original car that I own and that I've probably ever seen. It's brand new.
No
There's
shit.
not a flaw in it anywhere.
Because even my 55 Chevy, though, it's got 15,000 original miles on it. Never wrecked, never rusted, never restored. But the paint's got some patina on it. It's not perfect. You can see the car is, from 60-something years ago.
This guy parked this car, so he drove it 5,500 miles in the first 3 years he had it, and then drove it about 35 to 40 miles a year every year after that to the inspection station and back. That's it.
Wow.
He parked it, and his niece said that he would put a chalk mark on the tire and back it out of the garage once a month, and then pull it back in and make sure that the tire had rotated enough where it wasn't flat spotting the tires. He had a sweatshirt in the trunk that if you wanted to go for a ride, and only his niece was allowed in the car besides his wife, nobody ever sat in the back seat. She'd have to put the sweatshirt on because he was afraid of buttons or zippers getting near the car. And you had to take your shoes off and not bring them in the car. You had to leave them in the garage and then get in the car in your stocking feet.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, he was obsessive about this car, and he covered it up with a cover, sheets, and then blankets, and then blacked out the windows in the garage so no light could get in.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's why the car survived.
And he put blankets on the bottom of the garage door so no wind or dirt could blow in the garage. I mean, this is how obsessive he was about this car.
He thought of everything.
And it shows. I mean, the car is brand new. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So when I didn't win the award, somebody comes up to me and they said, well, are you upset? And I said, I'm not upset at all, because you know what? I still have the car.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap about this award. It's nice, but I still got the car, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what it was it was really nice. The episode, I decided, I flew the lady out that I bought the car from. She was so emotionally attached to it. I showed her first class time at Pebble Beach. She drove across the judging reviewing stand with me.
That's awesome.
Second place award, and then I gave her the award.
That's
awesome,
that's great.
man. That's
great.
awesome.
He's got all this to remember the car by now.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
so cool.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, you get the car.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's
If you
cool,
look at a
man.
Studebaker 1954, and then not to say anything bad about your 55 Chevy, but Fords and Chevys and Chryslers were all boxy looking.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a 54 or 53 or 4 Studebaker Starliner coupe.
Yep.
It's a beautiful car with angles, and the windshield is kicked back, and everything is in motion. And that was Raymond Lowy, who was the chief designer of the car. And he designed everything from washing machines and refrigerators, and he designed the Coke bottle. And should I say more? And the guy that designed the Coke bottle.
Wayne, you want to laugh? My wife says that, why are your cars all so boxy? And I'm like, well, I like them. The 55 Chevy, I have a couple of those.
Yep.
My 64 Chevelle, my 66 Chevelle SS, those are boxy. Because once you have something rounded, and people like what they like, I guess. That's what makes everyone different.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So those are cool cars, but there's always something different around the corner. My GT350, I think, is the coolest car right now. I just love that car. I got a 38 Lincoln that I just love. I got early cars. I got a 1913 American Underslung, a 1916 Pierce Arrow.
Wow.
I like cars.
Yeah.
Like them all, and that's kind of like the way I am.
I like cutting them up.
Yeah, know that. You can't leave anything alone.
And you know what's funny? The way Lou makes friends and the way you buy cars. Sometimes I just buy cars. I'm like, "Hey Lou, I bought a car. I'm bringing it down." It just happens. I don't know how it happens.
The gears going in his head already. How he's going to chop it up and make something different.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I went out. I had breakfast with a friend of mine, and I called Lou outside the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, "Hey Lou, I found the car for you." Then Louis Lee, I found your car.
Yep. He's the finder. He should be working for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Good God, no kidding.
You got my number now. Whatever you need, I'll tow it. I'll bring it. Whatever you need, I'll do it.
You know what we say on the show is just chasing classic cars. It's all about the chase. And it's all about the hunt.
Yeah.
You know, a good friend of mine, Richie Klein, who comes out to SEMA with us every year. Richie always said, he says, it's about the chase, Wayne. He says, and after that, they just become another can of peas on the shelf. After the next one. That's all. You're after the next one. So
Yeah.
it is
That's
fun.
cool.
You know, it's a wonderful way of spending your life and meeting people and you know, having fun.
So have you been back to the Middle East? You did that. I remember a few years ago you did that show in Kuwait that we talked about one time. Have you been back there for anything like that?
No, I was last year. I was asked to come over and be the Grand Marshal of the in Turkey, in Istanbul, the Concours in Istanbul.
They have a Concours? I didn't know that.
I didn't know they had one either, but they apparently have a Concours in Istanbul. And so I went home and I said to my wife, I said, you know, I've been asked to go to Istanbul. You're not going to Istanbul. So they called me again and they said, listen, you know, I know you have a fee for attending these things and we're willing to pay the fee. And so I said, instead of saying no, I'll just shock the hell out of them. And they'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, you know, that's not in our budget. So I said, $100,000. And they said, where do we send the money?
No.
So I go home and I say to my wife, I said, well, they accepted. I tried to chase them away with $100,000 and they said, okay. She goes, oh, you're not going. Then she says, well, wait a minute. Will they pay you before you leave?
She wants the insurance policy.
That's right. You're always thinking, if I get captured or kidnapped, that she'd have the money to bail me out, maybe.
Oh my God.
Or the new set of curtains you've been looking at.
If I just, and again, nothing to say bad about certain parts of the country. I'd love to go to Istanbul. I mean, I think the architecture and it's such an interesting country.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But, you know, sometimes certain things are happening in the world and you just want to avoid them if possible. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I had no idea that they had a Concours event there. Holy
I didn't know either.
That's
wow.
wild.
So I figured I got to go up on my price if I want to chase somebody away from now on. You know?
Man, no kidding, man. Damn.
Yeah, $175,000.
Shit, making it even two.
There you have it.
I don't know anybody that would pay that except for maybe the Clintons or something. But
That is crazy.
Right.
Hey, their money's just as good as anyone else's, so bring it.
well, you know, it's when I go give talks and stuff, I usually don't charge. And what I do is I make them write the check out to a local autism charity.
Oh,
So
good idea.
whatever I would charge to make the appearance, that's my fee. And
You have a big heart. That's awesome.
that's the way to give back. Unfortunately, a couple times I've been stung where I gave the speech and they were supposed to write the check, and then I got a call from the autism charity.
Oh, my goodness.
That, we never received the check. And I call the guy and he go, I don't know. Well, geez, you know, Jim was supposed to send the check. They passed the buck and it never gets
Hey,
done.
just send us the name. We'll take care of it.
Yeah. We'll travel for you.
So now before I go, I make sure that the people have their money in the bank. And then
Good.
Yeah.
That's terrible, man. People are just
That is.
People are heartless. It's
live and learn. That's all you got to do is just live and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. When I talk about autism on TV, it's amazing how many people send us checks to to forward to, you know, the Autism Families Connecticut, who I support, and they know that. So it's amazing. We had one guy give us $100,000.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I met him at a RM auction out in Scottsdale, and at the time I was giving all the money to Autism Speaks, and so he said, I'd like to make a donation in your daughter's name. I love your show, and so they called me and they said, he just gave us $100,000, and I go, holy moly. So I called him and I saw on his business card he gave me, he had PhD at the end of his name. I said, what are you a doctor of? And he says, well, I invent things. He says, I was one of the 4 guys that invented the MRI.
Holy shit.
He says, and we give millions of dollars away a year to all different charities as a group of people. So he says, so I chose your charity this year as part of one of my things that I give away. We sold a Ferrari once that was on the air, and they got $24 million, actually $27 million with the VIG at the end, and they gave it away to 10 charities.
Wow,
that's impressive.
The Tupelo Automobile Museum in Mississippi, we just sold the whole contents of that 3 weeks ago, and I was the advisor. She hired me to advise how to go about doing it. And she gave all the money, $9 million to 10 educational charities with scholarships and stuff. She gave every penny away.
Wow.
Yeah, her husband and her had set this up years ago, and he passed away, and she kept the museum open for 10 years, and then that was his request. And then she says, after 10 years, give all the money away to these educational charities, nursing scholarships and technical school scholarships, and I got autism in there, and I got McPherson College to give scholarship money to McPherson College, which is the restoration college in Kansas. So yeah, so there's good people in the world, and it's really great to see that, you know, when
it is awesome.
They're getting rid of their car collections, that they're giving the money away.
The generosity speaks volumes about them.
Yeah, and it felt good on our behalf too, you know, that we were able to be part of that and help. So, and then we sold the catalogs, and there was a group from Houston, Mississippi, that had it's a VOAG school, not a VOAG school, a tech school, and they build a solar powered car, and they race it all across the country, the kids in this one program, and we made the donation of all the catalog sales for the auction, which were $40 a piece to buy a catalog and you'd be able to get into the auction. 730 catalogs at $40 a piece, and all gave them all that money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. The kids were just like going nuts. They raised enough money to be able to send their car and compete in Australia this summer. So they're going
so cool.
The car, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good to hear that, because you don't hear that too often. You know, for some reason, I don't know why we don't ever hear about it. But
you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The news is always depression, and you know what bad thing happened. God forbid they report something good going on in the world,
right, to
restore people's hope in mankind. I mean,
sneak preview as to what our new show is going to be coming out. It's going to be about people that do good things. So
it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
We'll be those reporters that do that.
If you need me to be your co-host, I'm your guy.
We're also going to do another show about reuniting people with their cars.
Oh yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool too. Yeah.
People that have to sell their cars for one reason or another, and then sort of lose track of it, and then we're going to put them back. Not that they'll own the car, buy the car, but be able to reunite them with the person that owns it now.
Yeah.
So we're filming one of those segments right now. So it's going to
be Gerald. He owns Tiger rear ends. It's a quick change rear end.
Yeah.
His wife, I think he said for their 40th wedding anniversary. I saw the car. He had a '69 Mustang when they met, and when they had their first child, he sold it. And she was cleaning the house out of something, but she found an old registration card for the car. She tracked it down, had it restored, and gave it to him for, I think it was their 40th wedding anniversary.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I get emails every week from people that want me to track their cars down, but it's almost virtually impossible. You know?
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
after the Obama cash for clunkers.
Well,
Well,
no, not even that.
At
The Patriot Act, 9/11.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're unique enough cars where I tell people to put an ad in Hemmings, you know, looking for and put it in that column. Let's say for Chevelles, if it's a Chevelle, for this chassis number and you know, say what the car is and where it originally came from. And sometimes you'll say, hey, isn't that sound like Jim's car that, you know, he just restored? And next week,
Yeah.
So, and the reason the guy, my Shelby GT350, the guy got a hold of me because he saw the show on my TV show, the car. And when I purchased it from the family, and he said, geez, that's my old car. That's the guy that I sold it to. And so he sent me all these pictures now and old registrations and old bills of sale now. And so,
wow.
Good. So we're going to reunite him with his old Shelby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
John said that Facebook and Yellow Bullet steered him to find his. Yeah, helped him find his. Yeah.
Book is amazing what it'll do.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
A buddy of mine had his sweeper stolen off the front of his skid steer a couple weeks ago, and he put it on Facebook. He put it on Facebook, and it got found. Everybody started chatting about it. Next thing you know, freaking the thing shows up at another landscaping company. The guy said, I saw that, you know, just funny, you know, that company just got a sweeper on the front of their machine, and they went over and checked it out. It was his sweeper.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
That community, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, no shit. That's crazy. Jason wants to know if you're going to give that guy his GT350 back.
No. I'm going to let him take it for a ride, but I'm not going to give it back.
So,
I love
what time do we get cut off, Lewis?
11.
Okay. So, Wayne, if you want to, normally we get done at 10.
10:30. I'm going to
What's
turn
that?
pumpkin at 10:30.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, that's why I'm asking. I know you go to bed early and get up early. So,
Usually at this hour, I'm snoring away.
yeah. So, yeah. So, if you want to cut it off, we can stop. It's
Okay.
entirely up to you. I mean, I'm going to be up for at least another 3 hours, so it doesn't matter to me.
I'll call you, Lou.
I'm going to be up. And I know Lewis Lee's got to get up early. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to stop here, we can stop here. It ain't no big deal.
Whatever, whenever's good for you.
I just have one last question for you real quick.
And I'll need another cup of coffee.
I don't do caffeine, so I don't know.
Oh, it's good. Lou got me hooked on coffee.
That's what I do, man.
My wife's like, why do you have a coffee station? You never drank coffee. All of a sudden, even the firehouse, Wayne, I never drank coffee.
Yeah.
The senior men, the old guys would yell at you, the milk's not for chocolate milk, it's for coffee. I never drank it.
If I drink a cup of coffee at noon, I won't be able to go to sleep at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. It's still.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'll have another cup and I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll finish a cup of coffee, go brush my teeth, and go lay down and go to sleep.
Oh man.
I grew up on my oldest son is like that too.
Yeah. Not
Matter
me.
of fact, he should be rolling in any minute, and we'll have a cup of coffee in a little bit. Yeah,
That's okay. That's
and
all right.
we drink espresso.
Oh,
we drink
Woo.
we
The
drink
the big boy stuff.
I test.
we drink Cafe Bustelo. That's what we drink. I need to get them to sponsor me.
I live on the edge. I have a seltzer water, you know, grapefruit flavored seltzer water. I'm living on the edge.
Grapefruit.
Well, if you can have seltzer, you might as well make it into an egg cream. I mean, you might as well live on the edge if you're going to do that.
Yeah, John's telling me try Cuban coffee. It's basically the same thing. I've had Cuban coffee before. It's basically the same thing. Yeah.
And Medallion Doros is very similar too. So, except my crazy fan, they spike it with the Zambuca or Anisette, and they walk out drunk from having coffee. So,
Yeah, I have is I drink an iced tea every day. That's it. That's as close as that's got caffeine in it too. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's got caffeine in it. Yeah, I don't do tea. I don't do caffeine. I don't do hot tea or cold tea. I don't like it.
Cold tea.
I don't like it. I can't do it. I've tried it. Don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, just not a fan. I'll do vodka.
That works
That's a
sometimes.
big jump.
Yeah, and Vince just said apple pie. Yeah, I don't do apple pie either because you'll lose time with that shit. You will lose time. I lose days.
But what, your artery's gonna like?
No,
swell
the apple
That's
pie
a-
moonshine.
Moonshine, yeah.
Yeah, the apple pie moonshine. Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, that you'll lose time. The first time I ever had that. I was at the Nationals up there in Louisville, and I was hanging out with Barry Lobeck. He's like, "Lou, try some." I drank some. Nah, man, you gotta have that back. He's like, "What?" I said, "I'll lose. We will lose a couple of days. We can't do that, Barry." He just laughed at me.
Whoa.
It's just hardcore, man.
That's heavy duty.
Yeah.
Hey, before we jump off, I want to show the fellas in the chat room.
Oh, you got him.
No, I made them by hand. This is all
damn it,
handmade.
Whoa, that's nice.
All right.
So I'm gonna paint them. Get it all painted up, and then I'll bring it back on and show you. I got to do the other side now
Those are his footboards for his bike.
for my motorcycle.
That's really cool.
What do you got for bike?
I got a Yamaha Venture 87.
Mm-hmm.
I redid the whole thing. I went into a rabbit hole and came out the other side pretty okay. Now
Yeah, I'm into bikes now too. Well, I have been for my whole life. But,
I thought you had been. Yeah.
except for it's a sickness now.
Oh, okay. You got serious about it, is what you said.
Yeah, sickness. My wife, when we first got married, she went down the basement of the house and where her garage was, and she says, "So which one's the new bike?" And I said, "There's no new bike." She goes, "Listen, I may not know what they are, but I certainly know how to count."
That's awesome.
Wow.
Seriously.
That's something my wife would say too. She'll say, "How many cars do you have?" And I keep giving her different numbers, and I can't keep track myself.
That's so awesome.
Now,
Bad.
my wife doesn't know. My daughter knows. My daughter's in charge of the cars, and so
Yeah.
we have a lot of them in a special needs trust for our autistic daughter. So she owns about half of them, and so that the sale of those cars will basically keep her going for the rest of her life, we hope. So that's
Nice.
Yeah.
it's our focus in life. We work for our kids and work.
Sure do.
Everybody has a good life, and now the grandson, and
Yeah.
those are the best. Those are the best things in life. My
Yeah.
grandson's like the king of my world, so
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
he's unbelievable.
Kids make the world go around.
Oh gosh, he's unbelievable. Yeah, but bikes. I just bought a 28 Indian 101 Scout, all original
Oh,
Wow.
man.
paint, original everything, and one family owned. Really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Damn it, man.
You ever
how
go
many-
to the bar? You ever go down to Barber Museum down in Birmingham?
No, I never have, and I want to go through Wheels in Time too, but I haven't. I just haven't done it. I need to do it.
You should do that in Barber. Barber's like the craziest museum in the world.
Really?
It's the most wonderful museum I've ever been to.
Really?
They have
Okay.
like 3,000 motorcycles on display,
Oh my God!
and displays are just crazy beautiful. I mean,
Wow.
walk in the door, and then you sort of step back and you go, "I can't believe what I'm seeing." It's that
Holy
good.
shit!
Where's that at?
Birmingham. And so, gentleman's name is Barber, and he owned a dairy and made all small cartons of milk for school systems, all in the South. And he sold the company, and he built this beautiful museum, filled it full of motorcycles, and he built a race course that's actually an IndyCar course, and they have IndyCar races right there. So
Wow.
it's a great facility, and they do a vintage bike event in October that I go to every year.
Man, I'm
And then
gonna
I
go there.
buy bikes and bring them home.
Wow.
We should go
I didn't
visit
know that.
Nelson
I
and
didn't.
keep
I never
going.
heard of it. I never heard of it.
So you look it up on the internet. It's amazing. I mean, truly
I'll
amazing.
go. Yeah, I'll go there. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
very,
very cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
motorcycles are pretty cool things. That's for sure. I love looking at them because I just did an article, matter of fact, for Haggerty Collector Car Magazine about motorcycles. How it's just so interesting to see how all these different ideas that people have for front end systems and
Yeah.
the way the bike was, driven by shaft drive, by
Mhm.
exposed shaft, belts, chains, electric motors on wheels. I mean, it's just everybody was coming up with ideas all the time.
Yeah.
The Industrial Revolution was an unbelievable part of our history.
It really is.
You're right. You're right. I actually learned how to ride on a rigid jockey shift Harley.
Wow.
Foot clutch too.
I learned how to ride on a Honda 50 step through. I did. That was the bike I learned on.
That's awesome.
I learned on a Honda 50, 1979, the Honda 50, little with the fat gas tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I seen one at SEMA last year, and I had to take a picture of it. I'm like, oh man, there's my bike when I was little.
Wow.
Mini trails are going for crazy money. I've got 2 mini trails, but I mean they go for $10,000-$15,000 now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
wow.
It's crazy. I don't know
Man,
what.
that's bananas. I would have never thought that.
Yeah, me.
I wonder what a YZ80 is worth today then.
Damn.
I had one of those too.
Really?
They're going crazy.
That's what I learned on, Lewis.
Man.
At Mecum last year in Vegas in January, a Crocker, big tank Crocker, went for $450,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Set the tone for the whole auction.
Yeah.
That was like the 20th bike that sold. And then everybody, all of a sudden, it created a buzz, and all the bikes sold for 20 to 30% over what they were expected to sell for.
That's a great auction.
Yeah.
Man.
The vibe was there, the rhythm of the auction.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to buy 10 bikes. I couldn't buy anything. Finally, I ended up buying a little 150 Ducati with a dustpan fairing. But every bike I bid on was selling for 20, 30% over what I wanted to pay. So.
Oh my God.
Good auction.
That was
Man.
great auction.
I'd like to do an old Ducati. That's on my list.
Yeah. I've got a
Cafe racer.
I got a 900 SS and a 748, and then this little 125, and then I got a 200 Elite, it's called, with a jelly tank, and it's a single cylinder, beautiful little bike.
Well, see, I'm 6'5", so I can't play around with the 250s, and I gotta.
You got to get something substantial.
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah.
It's like a toy feel, Lewis.
Yeah, I gotta get the grown man bike.
He doesn't want to look like the Russian bear riding around in a circus. All hunched over on it.
I'd ride it though if I had to get somewhere.
Oh yeah. Shit.
You gotta be comfortable though when you ride, Lewis. You gotta be comfortable.
That is. I mean, I knew they went for some money, but man, that's.
I stopped riding, actually. I ride very little now. I've got a R60 BMW with a Ural sidecar on it that I take my daughter Kim for rides, and that's about all the riding I do now.
Yeah.
Just, you know what it is I used to ride a lot, and I used to ride with this one guy, and he was like my riding buddy, and then he died of a heart attack about 10 years ago, and I stopped.
Yeah.
A good friend, that you can trust each other, how each other rides and stuff, and just to go out by yourself, to me, it's like, so what?
It's not the same.
And then so I just stopped, and it became more dangerous too with people with cell phones.
Oh, you ain't lying about that. Yeah.
People are too distracted.
And so it just, and then, you ride the fast bikes and you always want to go fast, so I wear all leathers and full helmet and the whole bit, but I got a 748 Ducati that lifts the front wheel off the ground and all the gears, it's just, things go too fast.
Yeah.
Way too fast. My wife wouldn't let me get a sports bike, but I fooled her and got a cruiser that got a big motor on it. So.
We won't tell anybody, Lois.
Yeah, shh, don't tell. She caught me the other day though, because I got on it. She was on the back and I forgot, so I jumped on it a little bit, and she was like, "Mm-hmm."
When I bought my 748 in '97, I was bringing sport bike magazines home, looking at them, and she says, "If you ever bring one of those sport bike things home, that's it. Get out." So I bought the damn thing, and I never brought it home for a year. He never brought it home and never showed her.
You listened to her.
So one day she's at a swimming pool party and she calls me. She says, "Aren't you coming?" And I was at work. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll stop by. And the bike was sitting right there. I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to ride the bike. So I ride to the swimming pool party. All the guys come out and they're going, "Oh, man, this is the coolest bike."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He comes out. I go, "Oh, here we go." She looks at it. She goes, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's mine." She goes, "Oh, that's a pretty color." And she walked away. So I worried about it for a whole year for nothing.
Well, you did listen to her. You didn't bring it home.
You couldn't buy it. I just don't bring it home.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Hey, I'm going to check out here in a couple minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Wayne,
Well,
just,
then we'll
just to let you know,
close the
Wayne,
show.
Sam Madavi from Sam's Garage TV and Radio, he's in the chat room tonight.
Oh, cool.
And we have Tom Tilford from Shafroff. He's in the chat room. Greg from LSX Concepts. He's in the chat room. John Day. There's a lot of people that came to see you, and I can't thank you enough for coming by. It's I had a great time. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, well, it's fun. I always have fun when I'm with Lou. I mean, it's just natural. He kicks that.
He has that infectious laugh, Lou. He'll just lighten up a room. So
He does. And when Lou asks me to do something, I'll always be there for him.
So I'm gonna get new ink, guys, right here. I'm gonna get new ink.
what are you getting?
I'm gonna get the CB logo, just so you all know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, next month I'm gonna go get it.
You earned that.
Well, it's funny because I was always told you never get your wife's name and you never get your branch of service because you can always lose them both. I figured, they tried to kick me out 3 times and I still managed to retire, so I figured I can get it now.
Well, I got a quick story about a tattoo also. 9/11 happened, and there was a 9/11 tattoo that only a New York City fireman could get.
Really?
And I don't have any tattoos, and my wife does not like them. So my friend Kevin and me, we said, hey, look, both our wives don't want us to get the tattoo. We'll just tell the wives that we both got each other drunk, and we woke up and we had
Well,
this.
you know what you need to do then, Tori?
What's that?
You just need to get a full back piece of it. just get a full back piece. If you're going to go, get in trouble and do it right, damn it.
Go big.
Go big or go home.
We both chickened out. We weren't going to do it because,
Damn it, man.
Nah, I didn't do it. My wife was like, you put that depressing thing on your arm. Why would you do that? But it's got meaning to me. But you know what, though? I'll just remember every day. I'll just never forget.
That's why you don't. That's why you put it on your back. You won't ever see it. It doesn't matter. But you can show everybody.
I don't have, but Lou's making up for me.
Oh yeah, I am. Believe me, I got a full back piece. I just got to get it colored. I never got it colored.
Wait, just say I'm with Lou, and that's it. It'll all count.
There you
It's
go.
all good.
Yeah.
What's up? So,
All right, guys.
Wayne,
Thanks
listen.
so
all right. Well, let's close this thing out so Wayne can get home. He's got to go to sleep. We kept him up way past his bedtime. All right.
Right.
So,
Damn right.
all right.
Tori, go.
Do it, Tori.
Wayne, thank you very much for coming by. And remember, everybody, if you need anything for your rear differential or anything else, give me a call. I'll save you some money. Wayne, have a great night, and thank you for coming by. We had a great time.
If anybody finds any Gull Wings or Ferraris in barns, please, you know how to get a hold of me.
Oh, sure
We can
do.
do that. We can do that.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Look forward
All
to
right.
seeing you
Lewis
again
Lee,
soon.
go.
I'd like to thank everybody in the chat room and everybody live on Facebook and YouTube. We do this every Wednesday night, 9:00 Eastern time. Tell everybody to come check us out and go to our website. What's the website? Planandtraffic.com.
Plan traffic, damn it.
Yeah, planandtraffic.com. So go check us out. We'll have updates and all kind of good stuff there. And we'd like to thank Wayne. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Wayne, say goodnight.
Good night now. Good night, Lou.
Wayne, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. You ever want to call or hang out or get in trouble with me, let me know. You know how to get a hold of me.
I do.
We'll make it happen. All right?
Not only that, I'll share some phone numbers and look forward to having you as my guest at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, please. I'm game. I want to go do that. I appreciate it.
Got to do it, man.
Till next time. All right?
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Wait a minute.
what?
I'm coming to Pebble Beach too.
Okay. You're there. Don't worry. See you guys.